Big story of the day here, Mr. Phillip Lindsay, involves your alma mater. It's Deion Sanders signing a mega deal for a college coach here. 5-year, $54 million extension signed just a few hours ago. It keeps Deion Sanders in Colorado through the 2029 season. His contract is spread out fairly even over the next half decade. His base salary will be $10 million in 2025 and 26, $11 million in 27 and 28, and $12 million in 2029. That makes him the highest paid coach in the Big 12, but also the fourth highest paid coach in the entire nation, behind only Georgia's Kirby Smart, Clemson's Dabo Swinney, and Ohio State's newly minted national champion, Ryan Day.
That's wild. That's insane. Coach Prime has only been here for 2 years. Signed that contract, and now he's here for another 5. And he's the fourth highest paid coach in college football?
Crazy, but appropriate.
But some people are going to give you pushback because it's like, well, he's not winning the games like some of these coaches.
Dude,
He's not winning the games like some of these coaches. He's only been there for 2 years. What do you have to say about that, Zach?
If you are looking at a coach's compensation in a vacuum of just wins and losses when he's only been here for 2 years, I think it's foolish. For any issue that I've ever had with Deion Sanders, the one thing that I have steadfastly saying, that it was a no-brainer for the university to hire him. This contract is a no-brainer, and I have said probably a half dozen times to Phil over the last 6 months, knowing that the extension could be possible, that it's not can you afford him? You can't afford not to give him a mega contract.
And obviously, Colorado felt the same way. Rick George felt the same way, and that's why they gave him a very, very, very lucrative deal that he deserves because of what he has done for the football team, what he has done for the community, what he's going to continue to do for this football team and this community. Every time that football team steps foot on the football field, all right, their names are going to be talked about. Money is going to be thrown their ways. There's going to be a sold-out stadium, whether it's home or away.
Right.
That's the type of power Coach Prime has. It's called the Prime effect, guys. Get in with what's being said and what's being done, because Coach Prime is not going anywhere, and he's just getting started, not just for his football team, but for the college football layout. He is trying to have the first joint practice, the Bus versus Syracuse, be done this year. Nobody else in college football has done that or even thought about it. My guess is people have thought about it, but nobody has went out there and tried to make it happen. Coach Prime is trying to make that happen. That's going to generate a lot of attention and some money as well, because it's going to be put on the big screen. And if you're put on the big screen and everybody's viewing, you're getting paid a lot of money to do that. So Coach Prime is doing everything the right way, in his way.
It's definitely his way. It's definitely his way. And he is, much like Steve Jobs, 30, 40 years ago, or one of these disruptors in industry, you just see things different. You do things different. You don't play by the old school rules. And the financial impact of Deion, like, what's the point of a college or university? Behind all the virtues and altruistic views and turning boys and girls into men and women and that life experience. At the end of the day, these are not nonprofits. They want to make money. And since Deion was hired, CU's applicants are up 20%. 20%. And we spoke about this a few months ago. It's not even about kids in Colorado wanting to go to Colorado. It's about kids in upstate New York, in Southern California,
out-of-state kids,
in Texas, because out-of-state kids get hit with 3 times the number of in-state tuition. So when your school becomes cool, just like Florida Gulf Coast in the NCAA tournament or UMBC, and you get more applicants and they're coming from out of state, you as a school make more money, like a lot more. Now, that's going to make it maybe a little bit harder for kids in Colorado to actually get in to see you here.
Yeah, it really does. It sucks for those kids, and hopefully they can still get in, but this is all about making money. These programs want money, and how do you make money? Usually through your football team. Usually through what's going on, the coach that you have there. Indiana decided to give Kirk Cignetti a huge deal. Why? Because he wins football games and it's good for the program. It's good for the school. That's the exact same thing here in Colorado. Now, for Coach Prime, you have the money. You have the attention. You have the luxury to be here for multiple years, 5 years. Now it's time to start winning games consistently. And the only way to do that is get the young men that you believe in and that are talented as heck to stay here. Get the money, the NIL money, to keep these kids here and win games. You have the coaching staff to do it, man.
Well, and that's the other thing that, like, you talk about, like, doing it your own way and being a disruptor. When have we ever seen this? Someone build a staff with the likes of Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp, Domata Peko, Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
Like, what? This has never been done this way.
You got Schumer, who's been at the NFL level for a very long time. Robert Livingston, who's with the Cincinnati Bengals, the defensive coordinator, who's doing a great job. Like, you're just bringing in the coaching staff. It's phenomenal, man. From top to bottom, when it comes to coaching these kids and being and playing in the NFL or coaching in the NFL, so they know what they're doing. And Coach Prime has assembled this team for success. They just have to go out there and prove it to the world now for a second straight year.
Well, I actually want to talk about that, because what you kind of just said is almost like you're building up from the 9-win season. From 1 win with the 2022 season to 4 in 23 to 9 in 24. But, dude, you have to replace a quarterback who I genuinely believe is going to be the second overall pick to the Cleveland Browns, and arguably the greatest football player that ever walked through the doors
Brought us a Heisman.
of Folsom Field. That is like, you just can't snap your fingers and say, hey, Juju Lewis, true freshman, who reclassified, by the way, go lead us. Like,
No, I agree with you. It's not going to just like snap your fingers and you're going to have a Shedeur Sanders back in the building. But you build around this young man, Juju Lewis, or maybe it's Caden Salter. All right, he has 1 year left.
The Liberty transfer.
He's a senior, and maybe he's the guy that you start with, but you build around him. And because you're Coach Prime, because you have the staff that you have, the name that you have here at the University of Colorado, you're going to be able to get some of these players in the building that I never thought would ever come to Colorado.
Right.
They have them in the building every year. Every second of the day they're there. There's going to be multiple players that are going to be first, second, or third round picks that the Colorado Buffaloes are going to be able to choose from because of their name, because of Coach Prime. So that's why I'm expecting this team to continue to build off of what they did this year. And maybe it's not 9 wins. Maybe it's 7 or 8, but it's successful if you're dealing with a freshman quarterback like Juju.
Yeah, it's really interesting what direction they go there. It is really interesting. And, in terms of the rebuilding nature, and I'm putting in air quotes because I know they're bringing dudes back, but they're losing quite a bit. Like those names that we talked about that are going to be featured at CU's Pro Day in early April, like that, they're all the frontline players, from this past year. Not all of them, but 80% of them.
Yeah, there's 16 players that are not going to be with the Buffs next year.
That's more than a little bit. So, but I'll say this: the university is paying Deion Sanders commensurate with the best coaches in the country who have to do the same thing every year as well.
Yeah,
and that's replace NFL talent. So it's a tall task. I'll just say this, or I'll ask the question to you: over the life of this contract, which runs through the 2029 season, what are some expectations that come to mind?
One, that we're in a bowl game every year moving forward, Zach. We have to win at least 6 games a year. You need 6 games to go bowling. But now it's a bigger picture. Coach Prime's here until 2029 at least. Can we get to the playoffs at least twice in the time he's here?
The college football playoffs.
College football playoffs. We were 2 games away, at least 2 games away this year. Can we get into the college football playoffs? And yeah, do you have to win it all? No, it's hard to win it all. But be relevant, be in there, win games, win 7, 8, let's say 9 games, 9 or 10 games a year. Like, let's get to that level. And how do you do that? You build off of this year that you won 9 games. You stay consistent. You go out there and you recruit your butt off. You bring in some transfers that are ready to play right away, and you win. But if you can try to get to the college football playoffs at least twice in the 5 years that Coach Prime will be here, That's a success.
I think that'd be a raging success. And I, like you, am not going to sit here and say you have to win a national championship, because despite CU finding all the money to do this mega extension here with Deion Sanders today, CU still does not have the resources of the schools that is the expectation. Yeah. They just don't. But what I said at the top of the show is that I think it's a reasonable expectation that CU is competing for the Big 12 championship, at some point winning the Big 12 during the life of this contract.
Win the Big 12.
But also in more of a 20,000-foot view, and it kind of syncs up with what you just said, just be a part of the championship landscape. If you win the Big 12, you're in the college football playoff. If you're in the college football playoff, you're a part of the championship landscape. Whether you ever win one or not, being a part of that landscape, I think, is from where this program was when they were literally in 2022 listed as the single worst college football program in the United States of America.
No, it's insane what Coach Prime has done for this program, for Colorado, and he's going to continue to build off of it. My question to you is now, right? Shador's out the door. Travis Hunter's out the door. At least 9 to 10 starters are not coming back. What's a successful year for Coach Prime this year?
Well, I can't answer that question without getting an answer who you're going with that quarterback.
All right, so let's play it both ways.
Okay, I like that. Because I'll just say, like, the dynamic could not be further apart.
Yeah.
You have a true freshman who reclassified to be here in the first place, and a graduate senior who transferred in from Liberty.
Caden Salter. So let's go with the graduate transfer from Liberty. Caden Salter.
If you're not playing a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school in favor of a grad transfer, I expect you to win. I would say they were 9-4 this year.
9-4.
I'll go
with 2 top 5 draft picks.
8-5.
8-5.
8-5. If they went 8-5, and I know some people will say, "Well, that's all. Like, you got to win more." I don't think you can lose the second. I think he's gonna be second overall pick in the draft and a Heisman Trophy winner, and just snap your finger. Like,
no, I like it. 8-5. Now, Coach Prime won't like that. He's gonna say, "Hey, why can't we win 10, 11 games? Like, why can't we be that team?" Which you can be. Nobody's telling you can't be. But if you have an 8-5 record with a transfer quarterback on his senior year, and he hasn't been part of this team until now, that's a successful season. Now you can build off of that with Juju. Now, if Juju decides he's going to wreak havoc this year and starts, what should we be looking at?
Man, oh man.
He's a baby.
This is, in my opinion, when I was 23 years old, I became the voice of the University at Albany's football program. Okay? And the coach there was named Bob Ford. And he was like the architect of that program. He took them from a club team to a Division III team to a Division II team to a Division I FCS team over the course of about 40 years. And he who taught me a lot about football, because when I became the voice, he said, I know you didn't play football. I want to open my door. You can come into our meetings. So I'd start going into these coaching meetings, and I just got my mind blown just learning about the game in a way that I wouldn't have learned by just watching the games on TV. But I'm bringing him up because he used to say this. He'd say, for every true freshman that you start, count that as a loss on your schedule. And
right, that's interesting.
I always loved that.
No, for sure, because it's true. You're dealing with true freshmen that have never played at this level. How are you expected to win a bunch of games going against juniors and seniors?
And
it's hard to do that.
More than half true freshmen are redshirted. They become redshirt freshmen with football.
I redshirted, which helped me out tremendously, like healing my knee, but also just maturing up.
Yes.
I got to go out there and have fun, but then that next year I was ready to play.
Very rarely is an 18-year-old ready to compete physically with someone who's 22. And so, but now if I'm taking that sort of rule in my head of like every true freshman that you start is going to be a loss on your schedule, and that true freshman is the guy who touches the football in every single play. I don't care how many stars he has next to his name.
Yeah.
This is the Big 12. So I would say 6-6.
6-6.
And I know people aren't going to like to hear that, but if you start a true freshman at quarterback all year, I would say 6-6.
No, I you know what, Zach? You are right. 6-6 with a freshman quarterback and he's growing, but he wins enough games his first year at the college level, like that's big time. Now people are gonna be upset. They're like, Coach Prime's getting paid all this money. He better win 8 or 9 games. That's not how it works. But if you have a freshman quarterback and you're able to win 6 games, maybe 7, right? Then you're going in the right direction. You build through that young man, and it's gonna look bright for you 2-3 years down the line. 6-6 would be awesome if we can get that. If Juju is our quarterback, I'm gonna go a little higher than you just because it's my alma mater, and I do believe that Juju is gonna be really good. He's been eating it up. I've seen videos, and I know it's spring ball, but 7 wins.
Okay.
Because I think Robert Livingston and the defense is gonna help win some of these games. That's why I'm going with 7 wins. The defense is going to be really good this year. We're going to add more talent to the offense. Juju's going to come along, and he's going to hit his peak at the right time. We end up winning 7 games with this young man.